Welcome to MRL Cleanroom. I'm Sally Wang, taking care of the MicroFab Cleanroom. I will help you with this general safety training and also your spinning process, your lithography process, and wet etching process in our cleanroom. You know the cleanroom not only have equipment inside it, but also have a lot of the chemicals, a lot of the chemical waste inside it. So that's the reason we need a special training for the cleanroom. During today's training, so you will know what you can do in our cleanroom, what safety procedure you need to follow when working here, and some safety information you need to know before you enter the cleanroom for your work. That is very important for your safety and also for any user who working inside our cleanroom. If you have any questions about the safety, chemical, equipment operation, and issues in our cleanroom, welcome to contact me by email, call my office phone number, or just knock my office door, talk with me. Usually I will set up a Zoom meeting with user to discuss with user on their process. And I will usually ask those questions on this slide. So like what process you need, what's your sample material structure, sample size, the pattern size, the full disposal or the alignment, the chemical, like including the photoresist developer, if you need to do the wet etching, what is the acid, what is the metal etchant you need, and whether you have any experience inside the cleanroom before or not, and whether you have any experience with the chemical working before or not. If you have some of the lab members, that would be great because it will give you some reference, the recipes you can follow. And if not, you can also prepare the answers to those questions. It will be really helpful for you to design your process flow, helpful for you to create your SOP or the procedures for your clean work. And if you need any help, just let me know. I will help you together on those answers for your process. Here we are talking about the clean work. Some of you have worked inside clean room before. Some of you, this is the first time to do the clean work. Here I will give you a brief introduction for the clean room firstly. What is clean room? A clean room is an enclosed area we want to control the contamination inside it. Usually for some users working with a device have very tiny structures, and if they have some particle structure larger than your tiny structure and on your device, it's easily to let your device fail. So that's the reason we need the clean room for that type of work. And where are those contamination from? It comes from the people who working inside the clean room. It comes from equipment inside the clean room, from the sample, the chemical waste, any materials you bring to a clean room can provide the contamination. And the major source is still from the people who working there. So that's the reason you will find for every clean room, it will have the gunning room firstly. That the user to change the clean room gown before they enter the working area. So that is a very important step to keep the clean room clean. I hope I can get the help from every user who working inside our clean room. Always check your clean room gown. If you find it's dirty, it is broken, replace it. We need your help to keep our clean room clean, and that will also help you can always get repeatable results, can get the good device fabricated in our clean room. For the lithography area, you will find it's not the white light as our office, it's with that yellow light. Why we need the yellow light? The yellow light is needed for the photolithography to prevent any unwanted exposure on your photoresist to the light of the short wavelengths. At ML, we have two clean rooms here. One is called the Microfab Cleanroom, or main cleanroom. Another one is called the Raith Preparation Cleanroom. Which one you need to work with depends on what type of process you need. For the photolithography, if your pattern size is more than 2 micrometer, you could try with Heidelberg or the regular mask liner. If your pattern size is between 1 micrometer to 2 micrometer, you could try with our Heidelberg. Both process you could do in our MicroFab Cleanroom. But if your feature size drop to several hundred nanometers or below than 1 micrometer, you need to work with EBP software tools. We have two tools here. One is called Raith Eli, one is called Raith EBPG. You can work with any of them for your process. The Raith Prep Cleanroom is for the users to prepare the sample for the EBP lithographies. For the wet etching process, we provide the Fume Hood, the chemicals with containers, safety PPE. For the acid etching, for the metal etching, you could try them in the MicroFab Cleanroom. Here, this is the layout of our MicroFab Cleanroom. We have 5 rooms, one for the gunning area, the 313. You could store your cleanroom gun there. You could change your cleanroom gun before your work. And also you could take them off, store it inside it, and for your future work usage. They also have the computer. You can log in, log out to record your working time. For the working area, you can do your sample cleaning, developing in 384. You can do in the lithography in 388, do the wet etching in 359 or 387. For the clean room, you know there have a lot of chemicals. We need to work inside the fume hood. If you enter the clean room, you hear the alarm from the fume hood. Just leave. Do not keep working. Leave first, report to staff. That staff will check it. And besides those equipment, we also provide user with a chemical waste containers, help user to collect their chemical waste, provide a safety PPE, help user with their hazard chemicals operation. And also we have the different type of the trash can, like the regular trash can, the shop container, the wafer container, the vented trash can. You could find them in each lab for your usage. And due to COVID-19, we also provided the cleaning supplies in each lab to help user to do some cleaning before and after your session. In each room, we also have like the first aid kit. In the HF usage area, we have the HF first aid kit. In the hallway, we have the spill response kit. And also we have the safety shower IO station in each chemical usage area. In case there have some accident incident, you need to do some first aid, you could find those items and in our clean room. If there have any emergencies, like this building have emergency, you hear it in the hallway of the clean room. There have the chemical emergency, like the whole bottle HF, whole bottle Nanostrip drop on the floor. Have the other emergency, like they have fire inside the clean room. You need to leave firstly. Do not take off your clean gun, just wear it. Find the nearest emergency exit, push a bar of the door to leave. Find the exit sign in the hallway of the building and to find the door to the stairs and leave this building. And when you go to safety area, you could call for help, you could tell staff what happened there. Just remember your safety is the most important thing and for your clean room work. Now we will talk about the process flow for different type of process. The first one about the lithography in the MicroFab clean room. Go to the gunning area firstly, where your clean room gun. Go to 384 to clean your sample. Go to 388. You can coat HMDS, that will improve adhesion on your sample surface. Next, you can do a regular spin coating. Use a spin coater to soft bake with a hot plate. Next to the exposure alignment, use the mask liner or the Heidelberg. Last step, go back to the 384 for the developing and check your pattern with a microscope. For the metal etching process, you still need to go to gunning area, have your clean room gun, and you can go directly to 37 and for your metal etch process. For the acid work, same way, have your clean room gun firstly. Go to 355. According to the different type of chemical you need to work with, remember to choose appropriate fume hood for your process. Our clean room is open 24 hours, 7 days. We do not close during the summer or winter holiday. We only close every 35 to 7 p.m. for professional cleaning people doing the cleaning inside it. Please plan your cleaning work ahead. Staff working hour are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you have any questions, welcome to contact staff, and we are here. We are happy to help you on your process. Clean room, not like other labs, they have a lot of chemical inside it. If the user could not follow the proper procedure, it may got yourself injured or may got the other user injured during the work. And if there have any accident or incident during your work, you always need help from other people, help you leave clean room, help you go to safety shower at your station, help you get some of the first aid kit. Due to that safety reason, we do not allow anyone work alone inside the clean room. You need to always have somebody working with you together for your clean work. Next, I'd like to give you a brief introduction for the MicroFab staff, in case not only you need the clean room, but you also need to work with the other fabrication tools on the third floor. I'm in charge of the clean room. I will help you through the orientation walkthrough and equipment trainings inside the clean room. If you need to work with thermal evaporator, jet etching tools, Heidelberg plasma cleaner, or the Nano-strip 3D printer, welcome to contact me. I will help you on the equipment training, operation, and process development. Dr. Tao Shang is in charge of the Raith EBPG5150 tools, including the Raith ELI and Raith EBPG. He's also in charge of the EB evaporators, ball bonder, wet bonder, and he's also second staff for the Heidelberg for the mask liner. So if you need the training, if you have questions on those equipment, welcome to contact Dr. Tao Shang. Dr. Peng Chen Song is in charge of the AG spotter, the aluminium thermal evaporator, ALD tools, parting coater, and he's also the second staff for the Heidelberg. If you have any questions on those machines, welcome to contact Dr. Peng Chen Song. Long is in charge of the rebuild and maintenance of facilities on the third floor of the furnace. If you have questions on those machines, welcome to contact Long. If you are not sure which staff you need to contact, but you have some questions related with the micro or nano-fabrication, welcome to send email to the MicroFab staff. Any of these fab staff, including our director, can receive your email. And anyone knows answers for your questions will reply to you, help on your process. Then we want to talk about how to get access to the clean room. Firstly, you need to submit a proposal online, get the MRL user ID, attend the general orientation. Next, submit the training request for clean room on the CM website. And I will arrange a meeting to you firstly, and we will discuss about your process through the Zoom meeting. Next, you take the clean room online training on the computer website, including you read the materials, watch the video for orientation, watch video for the walkthrough. After you finish the online part, contact me for your in-person safety walkthrough inside the clean room. And then you could submit your access to the gunning room, the number 313, and you could have the access to the clean room gunning area and submit your training request on equipment. If you need to work with Heidelberg, submit your training request on the Heidelberg. If you need the mask liner, submit your training request on MB3. If you need to work with any of the wet chemical, and you can request your wet chemical training, or you can send email to me, let me know what chemical you plan to work with. And for all the clean room user, you need to do 2 additional training, one for the HF, one for the header communication. If you have not done this part, and you could go to Competitive website to upload your certificates there. And for the clean room, the iCard access, remember you can only your iCard go to the clean room for the work. Do not bother other people's iCard. And if any staff catch you use other people's iCard, or catch other people use your iCard, both of you will be suspended from clean room. And also, always swipe your iCard to go to clean room, swipe your iCard to leave the main clean room, bypass alarm. For the Raith clean room, you just need to swipe in, no need to swipe out. And every time when you enter the clean room, the first thing, log in on the computer. Last thing, before you leave, log out on this computer. Because this computer recording the working time for your clean work, and our billing system is based on these records. If we catch you from camera, you did not log in there, and you may receive a warning or special email from staff. If you've got to log out, your professor may need to pay the extra money for the time you did not work inside our clean room. And we have those remote link. You can click that link to set out remotely. If you already leave the gunning area, you just remember, oh, I've got to set out on that computer. Do not need to go back. Just go to the website, go to that remote link, set out by yourself. Then we will talking about the general rules you need to follow when you work in our clean room. First one, get training from staff. Your lab members can tell you what recipes you can work with, what parameters you can use, but they cannot give you training on the machine. You always need to get training from staff before you work with that equipment in our clean room. And next, remember always check your clothing before you enter the gunning area. Make sure you have a proper clothing, protect yourself for your clean room work. Always have the full leg shirts, pads, and also closed-toe shoes. Otherwise, because you know that the clean room gun is not strong enough or thin enough, if they have a lot of liquid on it to prevent it going inside. It may have some liquid go inside. If that happens, you still have these clothes to protect yourself. That is very important. And then follow this procedure, have your clean room gun ready for your work. Wear the blue shoe cover, wear the gloves, the buffle and mask cover. So previously the buffle and mask cover are optional items, but due to COVID-19, you need to always wear your mask cover for your clean work. And next, wear the hood, the coverall, put the sample there, wear the booties, the safety glasses. The most important part, wear the second pair of gloves. When you plan to work with any chemical in the clean room, always wear a second pair of gloves. If you find any liquid, any chemicals on that gloves, you can easily take it off. Have a new pair of gloves. Make sure you do not have the skin contact with chemicals. So that is very important to help you protect you from those chemicals. After your work, you can dispose like the regular blue shoe cover, the gloves, the buffle, and you can store your hood, your coverall, your booties, your safety glasses in the gunning area. Before you attend the in-person walkthrough with staff, remember to purchase these items in the MRL storeroom, which is on the first floor. You need to purchase the hood, the booties, the coverall, and the safety glasses. And next, swipe in to the clean room, and remember to swipe out. For the main clean room, they have alarm. Always follow the body policy for your clean room work. And we need always there have the 2 users inside the clean room. And for your safety, if there have some under user working with you, make sure from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. and there have some graduate student or the postdoc student work with that under user and for the clean room work. Now we will talk about what items we could bring into clean room, what items we could not bring into clean room. For the clean room notebook, clean room paper, sample wafer, cleanser, timer, toolbox, the pen, or some small equipment, we can easily clean them with a wipe and IPA. You already got approval from staff. You could bring those items into clean room for your work. But for food or drink, we cannot bring any of these items into the clean room or other labs. For the contact lenses, if you plan to work with any chemical, do not wear it. If they have any chemicals through your eyes, it will make that situation worse. It may stick to your eyes. And do not use a pencil eraser, do not tear the paper, do not use any pounder inside the clean room. And also do not wear the headphone or the headset. You can bring your cell phone, but do not wear the headphone or the headset. If there have any hazards around you, someone reminder you did not hear that information, it's very dangerous. After your clean room work, please follow these procedures here to store your clean room gun in the gunning room. You could put your hood there, put your safety glass on, use the bag to separate store your booties inside it, put your coverall, and zip it up. Remember, always have your use ID, your name, on the back of your clean room gun. And we have the hair set up sheet in the gunning area, and we may clean up those areas every 6 months or the 10 months, depends on the situation there. But if I have the new sheet in the gowning area, you will receive email from me. Remember to set up the numbers on the new sheet if you receive my email. Always wear safety glasses when you work inside the clean room. Until you need to work with microscope, check the patterns. You need to work with a mask liner to check your sample surface. You can take the safety glass off. But when you need to work with any chemical, you need to cut your sample, you need to always wear the safety glasses. If you find there have this warning sign near the fume hood, that means there may have some toxic chemicals if you work inside it. Always wear safety PPE before you access to that fume hood. If you need to work with any acid or the metal etching the fume hood, always contact staff, get training firstly before your work inside the clean room. The left picture is a picture of the flow bench. We do not have any flow bench in the MicroFab Cleanroom. We only have one flow bench in the Raith Prep Cleanroom. If you need to work in the Raith Cleanroom, when you need to clean your sample, do the developing, or do the spin coating, you need to work with this flow bench. Always leave those small holes clear. Do not use the wipe, do not use a beaker or the chemical bottles to block it. If you block it, all the fumes you are work with cannot go through it and go to flow bench. It will release to users. That is very dangerous. Every time after chemical work, return the chemical bottle back to the cabinet and keep the door closed. Always clean the work area after your work. Do not leave it mess there, so like either still have the wipes, still have the beaker with chemical. If we catch you from camera, you may receive warning or special email from staff. Do not dispose of any chemicals down the drain. Only the dear water can down the drain. We provide user with different type of the waste container. Remember to choose a proper waste container to collect your chemical waste. And also dispose of your trash properly. Choose like the regular trash can, shop container, wafer container, or the wanted trash can. Depends on what type of trash you have there. If there have accident or incident in your work, you need to do the first aid. You need to seek some medical attention, and also remember report to staff. And we can help you report the situation to the university. Keep a record there. And for emergency, not take off your clean gown, just leave firstly, go to a safe area, and then call for help. There have several special safety rules for this special COVID-19 situation. Before you attend any in-person training with staff, make sure you have the building access granted on your APP, or you can print from the online campus boarding pass. Always wear your mask when you work here. Always wash your hands after you remove the gloves. And we provide the cleaning supplies. Welcome to clean before or after a session. If there have more than one people working in the same lab, it's better to keep a safe distance between each other. When you remove your gloves, you can follow the instructions here. Make sure you do not touch the outside of your gloves, have any contamination on your hands. These are the pictures of the cleaning supplies in our clean room. You can easily find them in the gowning area or any preparation table in each working area in our clean room. We also have this temperature and humidity meter in each lab. You can check that the numbers. If the humidity level is very high, it's better do not work for the lithography on that day. So like it's more than 65% or 70%. So that is very high. It may influence the parameters for your process, like the spinning, like the soft bake time, like your expose time, or the developing time. So you use the same recipes, but your results may be different on those high humidity level days. And then we will talk about the facility safety procedures. Firstly, we will talk about the fume hood usage. We have many fume hoods in our clean room. Like we have a spin coater fume hood, have a solvent fume hood, developer fume hood, metal etchant fume hood, and acid fume hood. When you work with Fume Hood, the first thing, check the flow meter. Make sure they have enough flow. Just have the green light, no red light, no alarm. If you hear the alarm or you find they have a red light, leave cleanroom immediately, report it to staff. The fume hood can protect you from the fumes you are working with. Always leave all your items inside it. For the flow bench, it will be a little different from the fume hood. It will protect your sample, and also the environment you are working with from the contamination. The fumes and the outside air will go through those holes on the edge of the surface and go underneath it, go from top of the filter, have the fresh air inside it. So that's the reason why I tell you do not block that area. If you block it, all the fumes you are working with will release to the users. And always have your beakers, chemicals, your atoms inside the fume hood, inside the flow bench. Do not put it to the edge of the surface. So for these pictures here, it's easily tell you, if you put to the edge of surface, you may still inhale part of fumes you are work with. That is not a good working habit for your chemical work. And if that shifty shield you can move, always keep it as low as possible during your work. If there have any chemical splash, chemical spill, it will help you to block it. And also, if there have any chemical waste container inside the fume hood, before you leave, keep the waste container closed. And also, always do not put any hot chemicals to the waste container. If you put a hot chemical to waste container, there may have built up the gases inside the waste container. If you tightly cap it, it will be very dangerous. Always cool down your chemical before you dispose them to the waste container. And also do not put your hand into the flow bench or into the fume hood. That is also dangerous. Do not use any petri dish for your chemical work. Always use the beakers, glass beaker, plastic beaker, or Teflon beaker. Depends on what type of chemical you are working with. You can choose different type of beaker for your work. We also provide user with this wafer container or the sample container for the user usage. It's very helpful for you to work with some toxic chemicals like the HBOE, like the Nanostrip, or the other acid. Why you need to wear the extra PPE? If you think there may have chemical splash, if you need to pull in toxic chemical waste, or if you need to work with some chemical for a really long time, it can reduce your regular PPE. For example, for acetone, we usually just wear the regular gloves for the acetone cleaning your sample. But if you need to work with acetone for several hours, there have possibility to dip your gloves into the acetone beaker. That is a different story. You need to have the special silver glove to protect yourself. In our clean room, we have this type of safety PPE for our user to work with acid or work with a metal etchant. You can put them on in this order where the boot is apron, face shield, last step is acid gloves. Remember, always check them. No residue, no chemical liquid inside it before you wear them. For the glove, check with the Michigan gum. Blow it. Make sure on the fingers there's no holes, there's no leaks on your gloves. After your work, wash your gloves with water. Dry your gloves. Take it off. Next, take off your face shield, take off your apron, take off your booties. Take them off in the reverse order. And for due to the COVID-19, always clean the inside of your face shield and before and after session. And for the gloves, it's better to have one or two each carve. So that will prevent the liquid running down to your arm if there have some liquid during your cleaning or during your working. And do not wear these gloves or apron away from the fume hood. You can only use this PPE when you work with acid or the metal etchant with those fume hoods. For the wet etching process, and after you clean your gloves with water, always dry the gloves. That is very important. We have several users forget to dry the gloves after the rinse with water, and then they take off the face shield first, then try to take off the gloves, splash a lot of liquid to the face. that is very dangerous, because if you finish your HF or BOE work, it's hard to tell there have any liquid with HF BOE from your splashed liquid to your face or not. That is hard to tell. And also always store your gloves like this way, and do not put the inside out like the first picture, so that will easily have that pair of gloves have contamination from the other gloves. And here is the pictures for the PPE we provide inside our clean room, and you could find them in the 359 or 387, and you can get them for your wet etching process. We usually will replace them regularly, depends on the condition of these items. If you find it's dirty, it's broken, just report to staff, and I will just replace them and have clean items and for your usage. If your wet etch process is very long, like several hours, you could use this chemical use label and leave your beaker inside the fume hood. Do not need to just sit there, watch your beaker for several hours. So you could fill out this label with what chemical there. When you come back, remove your chemical waste, your name, your contact information, leave the label next to your beaker. Put both your beaker and label to back of the fume hood. Leave the front space for other user usage. If for some like the HFBOE or the Nanostrip, you need to have a second container to hold your beaker. In case there have a little spill, you will easily to clean it after that instant. After learning several previous slides, so you know when you enter the clean room for your chemical work, check the fume hood firstly. Make sure there have the green light, no red light, no alarm. If you need an extra safety PPE, check the PPE before you wear them. Avoid doing the wet etching at late hour of night. We have several accidents for the chemical work in our clean room. It always happen like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because during that time, so usually you could not focus on what you are doing there. You may forget there have beaker, there have a bottle, you may kick down some bottle, you may drop some samples, drop the beaker with chemical. So that is very dangerous. And what doing the wet etching will allow in the clean room, always have somebody working with it together, and avoid pulling any chemical down the drain, always collect them in the waste container. And also, if you need, bring any bottle from the lab to other place, from your lab to the clean room, always use a rubber container to hold it. And do not directly place a bottle on the floor. Next, we will talk about the spin coating process. For the spin coating, you need it for your lithography process. You spin in your PR on your sample surface. Prepare is ready for your next posal or the alignment. Always use a aluminum foil in the spinner bowl to cover it before your work, and clean it after your work. Make sure there's no residue on the spinner chalk and also inside the spinner bowl. And we have several spinner chalks in our clean room, and you need to know how to choose the correct size spinner chalk for your work. Your sample should cover all the hole and grooves on the chalk surface. Otherwise, the resist may go through it, go to vacuum line to block the vacuum line. And if vacuum line is blocked, your sample may fly away during your spinning process. That is very dangerous. Properly line up the chalk with the shaft on the spinner. It should be smooth. You can push it down. If cannot, you need to push very hard. It may have something wrong, and do not try to force the chalk onto the shelf. And spinner chalk should always live in our clean room. Do not take them from the clean room. Here is instructions you could follow when choosing the spinner chalk in our clean room. You could choose number 1 to number 4, depends on your sample size, and also follow picture in the right side. Align those flat ends together and make sure the D shape on back of your spinner chalk align to that D shape on the shelf. There are 2 types hot plate in our clean room, one with a ceramic top, one with aluminum top. If you need to heat up the corrosive chemicals, including the bases, acid, you should work with the ceramic top hot plate. If you need to bake in the sample of the spin coating process, you should work with aluminum top hot plate. Remember, choose the right tool for your work. For the hot plate usage, first check the surface. Make sure the cord is not on the surface before you turn it on. Check around it. Make sure there's no chemical bottles, no plastic bins around it. Before you leave, you should turn them off. If there's any sample on top of it, or if there are any the beaker with chemicals on top of it, do not leave. This is HMDS vacuum ONE 388. We have the auto recipe loaded in this tool. The temperature always set at 150 centigrade. So please do not put any tape, any wipe, any plastic items inside this oil. It may melt, have very bad burning smell inside it. If that happens, we need to close the clean room and then maybe open after the half day or 1 day. It may influence our user's work. And always use the protective gloves if you need to open, close the door to load your sample or get your sample from the oven. And if they have any issue with this tool, like there's no coating on your sample surface, no vacuum, could not vent, report that issue to staff. Do not try to fix by yourself. We have several mask liners in our cleanroom. For the MicroFab cleanroom, we have the MG3, MG4. The wavelength is around 365 nanometers. The minimum feature size can around 2 micrometers. For the Raith Prep Cleanroom, they have a deep UV cells MG3. The wavelength around 220 nanometers. The minimum feature size is around 1 micrometer. We also have the Heidelberg Maskless Writer in our MicroFab Cleanroom. You could use it for the maskless photo lithography. Load your design file to computer. It can directly write pattern on your sample surface. The minimum feature size can down to 1 micrometer with appropriate photoresist, with good recipes you are working for your exposure alignment. It can work on the large wafer or the small pieces for the work. Here is a two link for the lectures, one for the litho, one for the deposition. Both lectures are held by the MRL staff. You could check some details of those equipment we have here, basic information for the techniques, the difference between those equipments. It will be helpful for you to choose a proper tool for your work. Then we will talk about the chemical safety. I will let you know how you can request the new chemical if it's not provided by MicroFab. And also, we will just check the SDS before we work with any chemical in the clean room. And if you know where to store your chemical, if you bring your chemical to the clean room, and how to do the chemical transport from your lab or your office to the clean room, and how to do the risk analysis before you work with that chemical, how to create your SOP, and how to find those first aid information and from those safety data sheet. We provide these chemicals in our clean room. For the photoresist 8514E, you could purchase from storeroom. For other developer, and you could get inside the clean room. And for the solvents, we have acetone IPA for your cleaning, 400T for the stripper. For the etchant, have the chromium oxide copper gold etchant in the 387, have this acid, HFBUE, nitric acid, hydrochloric acid, phosphoric acid, Nanostrip in the 359. If you need a chemical not listed there, you could log in to CMM website and click bring a chemical and go to chemical request system. And fill out information here with the chemical name, the CS number, UI number if you need to collect the chemical waste, and the quantity of the chemical bottles you plan bring into a clean room, link to SDS, and the brief procedure how you plan to work with chemical in our clean room. If needed, staff may request you to provide a detailed SOP for your process. If your chemical request is approved, you can pick up a label from the staff's office and put a label on your chemical bottle, store your chemical bottle inside the cleanroom for your usage. If you need to collect your chemical waste, staff will also help you prepare your chemical waste label. You could put this waste label on your chemical waste bottle and then collect your chemical waste. For chemical safety date sheet, if you are the first time to work with that chemical, always read it carefully. It will tell you very important information, including the hazard of that chemical, how to do the first aid if you have any chemical spill during your work, how to safely handling storage your chemical, how to choose the PPE for your process. That is very, very important. Remember to read it carefully before your work. On the chemical bottle label of the SDS, you will find that we have this pictogram, which you saw in this slide here. It will tell you what type of the hazard of your chemical. It's a health hazard, physical hazard, or the environment hazard. And also, you will know what will happen if you expose to that type of the chemical. Like the first type, the skull and the crossbones. So that means it's very dangerous. If exposed to a small amount, it can cause a serious injury or death. The next one, like corrosive one, it means exposed to that chemical can cause destruction of the skin or permanent damage to your eyes. The third one, it means compared to the previous two types, it will have the less severe health effects. It not means it's safe, just a little safer than the previous two types. The fourth one, it will cause the chronic effects if you expose to that type of chemical for a really long time. And for that physical hazard, it will have the pictogram there. It will mean sometimes it have explosion if it's not treated properly. It may be a flammable chemical, or it may be the oxidizer. And last type, it means that it have the environmental hazard of that chemical. So from this chemical bottle label, you should find on the left side there have the pictogram, have the single word for that hazard, and also have the detailed hazard statement. So this example of the etchant bottle label there. You should find the similar information from SDS. It still have the pictogram, the single word, and detailed hazard statement. So this example for the HF SDS. When you bring your chemical bottle to cleanroom, you should know where to store your chemical there. For the fridge, you can store your polymer photoresist bottle inside it. For the yellow flammable cabinet, you could store your solvents or developer inside it. For the blue corrosive cabinet, you could store your metal etchant or some acid inside it. For some type of etchant or acid, it may also have like other limits. It may cannot store with this acid or with other etchant. You should read the SDS firstly. Make sure you know how to safely store your chemical in the cleanroom. And if you need to transport a chemical, no matter from this lab to a next door or from your lab downstairs to upstairs clean room, and no matter how far, and you should use this wrap container to hold your chemical. In case a job there have second container, it's easy to clean that spill. And next, we will talking about these chemicals in details one by one. The first, about HF. We have the 49% HF in our clean room. It's the most dangerous chemical in our clean room. This chemical is very dangerous. And when you put in the HF to your beaker, sometimes you may find that there have some smoke above your beaker. That means not only the liquid, but also vapor is very dangerous. And the HF can penetrate skin, can attack your bones. So just be careful and always have the safety PPE, always follow the procedure for your HF work. And HF also can attack glass. We cannot use glass beaker to hold it. We must use a plastic beaker or Teflon beaker to hold it. And if they have one part of HF, one part of water, because it's no color, no smell, we cannot tell which is water, which is HF. Do not bring any HF contaminated materials and outside the fume hood. Okay. The BOE can give you the more stable etching rate for silicon dioxide. For our BOE solution in clean room, it can achieve the etching rate for the silicon dioxide with the 80 nanometers per minute under room temperature. It still have the HF there, so we still need to use a plastic container or the Teflon container to hold it. And if they have the skin contact with 50% HF, it's only the 1% of your total body surface area. If you do not do any treatment after you're exposed, it can still cause someone's death. So that's the very dangerous part of this chemical. And also when you work with some of the low concentration HF, and after you're exposed with HF, and maybe in the first hour or the first 24 hours, there's nothing happens. But later, it may penetrate skin, go inside etching bowls. You find they have the redness, have the pain. It will also very difficult for the doctor to do some treatment there. And like you have the HF, the fume inhale, or you have like the exposed with the liquid. So all these routes of exposed are very dangerous. We have the special training for the HF BOE process. If you need it later, and send me email, I will send this training procedure to you. You need to do the online training first, and later contact me for the in-person training. And if someone exposed to HF, call the 911 immediately. For the skin contact, rinse with water for several minutes, and then apply the coagulated gel to the affected area. Bring this tube with you. Every 15 minutes, reapply it again. Eye contact, use eye wash station for 15 to 20 minutes. In isolation, you need to go to fresh air immediately. The injection, you need to use water to rinse your mouth. And next, we will be talking about Nanostrip. The Nanostrip is a commercial version of the Piranha. It's extremely corrosive chemical also. It's the effective stripper and also cleaner of the organic inorganic residues from your sample surface. And this one is pre-mixed by the manufacturer. We do not need to mix by ourselves. And we just need to heat it up to temperature we need. So most situation user will work around from 60 centigrade to the 100 centigrade for their work. And you can work with this Nanostrip for the most type of your substrate. But when your substrate have aluminum, just be careful. On the room temperature, the etching rate is 3.5 nanometers per minute. If it's heated up to the 60 centigrade or the 100 centigrade, it will be really quick for the etching rate with aluminum. And we can use a glass container to hold it. Sulfuric acid. We do not provide sulfuric acid in our cleanroom anymore. But if you need it, you can go to that chemical request system, request by yourself. And nitric acid is also highly corrosive chemical. And when it's mixed with some organic chemicals, it can release some of the toxic gases from the chemical reaction. So for the storage, the nitric acid waste, we need to separate from the organic the chemicals. And we can also use a glass container to hold it. And here's some reference date for the etching rate when you work with different the etchant we provide in our clean room, like the copper, chromium, gold, and oxide etchant. For the gold etchant, you can also etch the nickel. You can also etch the silver. So if you want to etch some metals, you can discuss with me first. Even if we do not have that the metal etchant, but for some type of etchant, you can still etch your metals. And I will give you some instructions and suggestions on your process. And when you work with niacinamide, just be careful. So they have low percent TMH inside it. When someone exposed to TMH, it will influence your nervous system, your breathing, and also your muscle. So that is very dangerous part of this chemical. So when you find that they have any liquid, any residue on your second pair of gloves, remove it immediately, have the new gloves. When you have the chemical spill on your skin, you need to rinse with water for 15 to 20 minutes, and later you still need to seek some medical attention. And also nitric acid is also one type of oxidizer. And here have some of the regular information for the first aid if someone exposed to the most like type of acid, basis, or the oxidizer. But you still need to check your chemicals SDS. It will give you the more detailed information there. Like the regular, when you have the inhalation, you need to go to fresh air immediately. The skin contact, rinse with water, and eye contact also rinse with eye wash station. Injection, use water to rinse your mouth, and later to see the doctor. And also remember to report it to staff. And for the cleaning solvents, like they have the acetone IP, methylene acetal, the most type of the photoresist polymer, we have the solvents inside it. The resist remover, we have the solvents inside it. And also some type of developer are also solvents, like the acid developer, like the MIBK developer. And there have some similar information for the first aid if someone exposed to most solvents. Like the same procedure, check your chemicals SDS, find detailed information there. And next, we will be talking about the waste disposal. So you know how to dispose your chemical waste and the other waste after your work. And for the chemical waste, just remember, do not mix them together if you are not sure they have the chemical reaction or not. And we'll always have the backup the waste container for your usage and double check it. And if there's not available for your use, and report to staff. And for the acetone, for the IPA, for the methanol, ethanol, acid developer, MIBK developer, for all those solvent waste, you can dispose them to the non-halogenated solvent waste container, which is inside the solvent waste solvent fume hood. And also for the Raith Cleanroom, it's inside the flow bench. For the etchant acid, each one have its own waste container. If you have your own mixture for your wet chemical, you need to have your own waste container collect your chemical waste. For the 400T stripper, we have 400T stripper waste container. For the used PR, PI acid bottles, we have the waste bin for those PR, PI acid bottles to collect them. You need to rinse with solvent first and dispose your waste to the solvent waste container, and then rinse with the water for 3 times, and then cap that empty bottles and dispose them to those waste bin. For developer waste, we have 2 types. One is called the TMAH, developer waste container. One is called the non-TMAH, developer waste container. For the TMAH containing developer waste container, so when you work with naphthalene MIF, you need to use with this developer waste container. It's in the left pictures here. We have 1 gallon bottle. It's inside the developer fume hood. And for the Raith Cleanroom, it's inside the chemical cabinet. And when you work with 400K, and you need to work with the non-TMAH developer waste container, which in the red pictures here, we have the 10 liter or the 6 liter large bottles collected. And also inside the developer fume hood in the main clean room, is in the flow bench in the Raith Prep Cleanroom. And you can check this both bottle. So they have different color, but both of them for the chromium etchant waste container. They have different color because one of bottle user dispose other chemical inside it. And they have the chemical reaction there. When we shake that bottle, they have a lot of bubbles from bottom side. So that means still have some chemical reaction inside it. So during your work, if you find the one waste container is little fat than other bottles, do not to use it. Report it to staff. It may build up gases inside it, and we need to safely vent it before the gas to pick it up. And when you dispose your chemical waste into this waste container, for the small bottles, 1 gallon bottle do not above this line. For the large bottle, do not fill above this line. And for the other waste, like your wipe, like your plastic wafer container, your non-contaminated materials, you can dispose them to regular trash can. Like the blades, needles, stringers, you can dispose them to the shop containers. Like the coated substrate slide wafers, you can dispose them to pails with a slotted cover. Like your PR, your solvent-soaked wipe, aluminum foil, and plastic pipette, you can dispose them to vented trash can. And this picture is a shop container. We have a 2 gallon shop container in our clean room. We have 1 pint shop container in the outside labs. And this is the wafer container. If you have some wafer, if you have some glass slide coated with metals, you can dispose them to this wafer container here. If you have the vented trash can, like you have the PR, you have the solvent soaked, the wipe, aluminum foil, the pipette, you can dispose them to this vented trash can. And for the other non-contaminated materials, you can dispose them to the regular trash can. For the Raith Cleanroom, there's no vented trash can, and after spin coating process, you can open the cabinet which is underneath the spin coater, the flow batch area, and there have trash bin, have a large trash bag. You can dispose your items inside it. And for your empty bottles, you can put them inside the cabinet and do not leave them in the fume hood or on the tables. And next, we're talking about warning and suspension. So we have the camera in the clean room. So if we catch you from camera, you did not follow the procedure. The first time you will receive a warning email. The second time you will receive the suspension email from staff. When you receive a suspension email from staff, you need to meet with staff, attend the safety retraining, and meet with our director to get your access back. And for the user cannot follow HF rules, they will have the 2-week suspension and they need to attend the HF training again. And we will also share this information with other cleanroom managers on campus, like the MNTL cleanroom manager, MMS cleanroom manager. If they think they will give you the same suspension, you may cannot work with in any cleanroom on campus during that time. The last topic of today's orientation is accident and emergency. And I hope you can remember safety is most important, the first thing you need to remember when you work in the clean room. And double check the safety equipment before you work in the clean room. You know where have the safety shower eyeball station, where have the first aid kit, where have the HF first aid kit, where is the emergency exit. And also check your waste container. Check that the levels there. And make sure and they have enough space for you to fill your chemical waste of your work there. And also bring your cell phone with you. If you need to call for help, you need to know so how to call for help. And for the chemical spill, they have simple spill or complete spill. For the simple spill means the spill is inside the fume hood. That one we can easily control it. So like you can let others know they have chemical spill and do not let them to touch that area, and spray neutralizer to that chemical spill. And then for the acid-base neutralizer and wait for the color change. It's HF neutralizer, wait 5 to 8 minutes. And then use absorbent pad to collect those chemical spill treatment there. And then use a lot of the DI water, rinse the surface, use the absorbent pad and to dry the surface. And then collect all those atoms in the yellow bag or in the trash bag, and then tie them and leave them in the fume hood and report to staff. And I will pick it up and let the others pick them up. And if they have complete spill, that means someone is injured or it's unknown chemical. It's highly toxic, highly flammable, highly reactive chemical, or it's spilled in the public area. And for that situation, you need to inform all the users in the clean room and let them to leave and report to staff. And after staff clean that area, and we will let you know, and you can come back for your work. And just remember, we will not give you the warning suspension because you report this accident or incident to the staff. So it's just a report to staff and let us to help you if you think you are not able to clean it by yourself. Okay. Here are the details about how to use this liquid acid neutralizer to treat the chemical spill inside the acid fume hood. Firstly, you need to warn other users in the lab and do not touch that area. And you need to wear the appropriate safety PPE, including like the face shield, apron, gloves, and boots. And also you need to using some offset pad. You can get those materials from the chemical spill response kit in the hallway. And slowly to spring or pull acid neutralizer to your chemical spill, and you may find the color will change from purple to yellow. So that means it's during the neutralization. And then you need to apply it a little more until the color change is go to the reddish color. And then you need to allow that the neutralized liquid to cool and soak up with this liquid with applied materials, and put these materials into the yellow bag or into any the heavy duty bag, and then use the water, rinse the surface and wipe it down, and put all these materials also into that yellow bag or that heavy duty bag, and tie it up and put it to the back of the metal etchant fume hood, and then report to staff and staff to help you to dispose it through the DS. If there have the large chemical spill in the fume hood, you are not comfortable to deal with it, you can contact the staff and let staff help you to deal with that the chemical spill. But do not to hide that chemical spill. It may cause someone's injuries due to your spill. This is the details on how to use this liquid-based neutralizer to treat the developer spill in the developer fume hood. Firstly, you need to warn other users in the same lab and do not touch that area, and wear appropriate safety PPE, including like that the face shield, like the apron, gloves, and the booties, and prepare that absorbent pad. And firstly, spray this neutralizer or pour a little neutralizer to your developer spill in the fume hood, and you may find the color will change from red to blue. That means it's during that neutralization. And then you apply a little more neutralizer to your chemical spill, you will find that color will change to yellow. And then you allow that neutralized liquid to cool and soak up with that absorbed materials, and put those materials into the yellow bag or the heavy-duty chest bag. And then use water rinse the surface to dry the surface, and put all these materials also to that yellow bag or the heavy-duty bag. And then tie this bag and put it back to the developer fume hood, to the back of the developer fume hood, and then report to staff. And staff will help you dispose it through the DRS. So if there have a large chemical spill, large developer spill in the fume hood, you are not able to deal with a chemical spill, it's fine. Report to staff, that staff will help you, but do not do to hide that chemical spill. And this is the chemical spill response kit. We have two on the hallway of clean room. And we have these atoms inside it, so you can check all these atoms inside it. You can find them, and if you need to treat some chemical spill in the clean room. And this is eye wash station. If you have the chemical spill in your eyes, on your face, and you can force your eyes open and push a bar, there have this water from both sides, and then you need to rinse it for 15 minutes. And if you have a big chemical splash on your whole clean room gown, and stand underneath this shower head here, and then put this handle that have water from top, and rinse your clean gown, take it off, and rinse it again. And at the same time, let someone to call 911 and to seek the medical attention there. And this is first kit. It will on the supplies rack in each room. Have fire extinguisher. It's usually near the door of the lab. And if there have any emergency, so you do not need to take off your clean gown, quickly go to emergency. We have two on the hallway, the third one in the 59. And you can push your bar and then leave, and then follow the exit side, go to safety area. And when you go to safety area, and then you can take it off. And also remember to always wash your hands after you remove your gloves. And if you have any suggestions during your work, just let the staff know. So like you think we may have more chemical, it's more easier for your work, have more equipment, it's more easier for your work, and just let me know. And if I receive many feedback on the same type of the request, we may consider to have the more chemical supplies, or we may consider to add more equipment in the clean room to make our clean room user work more easier in our clean room there. So that is all for today's orientation. I hope you have learned some information. And for the safety, for the chemical, for the equipment, and then I will also give you the walkthrough later and let you know what we have in our clean lab